Hello everyone. Welcome back to Bible History Journey. If you've been following this channel, you already know this is where we explore the deeper side of history, faith, and the things most people don't talk about. Here's the thing. What happens when artificial intelligence meets religious faith? And what does that mean for how we think, how we believe, and how we survive as individuals and cultures? Because this isn't just about technology anymore. It's about spirituality, psychology, and something much deeper. Now here's something interesting. Stephen Hawking, Bill Gates, and Elon Musk have something in common. And it's not wealth or intelligence. They're all terrified of the AI takeover or the AI apocalypse. This is the idea that one day artificially intelligent machines could become the dominant life form on Earth. So, are we witnessing a new tool for faith, or the beginning of something we don't fully understand yet? AI gods, the shocking religious shift nobody talks about. Discussions about technology and its impact on religious faith have been around for a very long time. In fact, if you go all the way back to the ancient world, you'll find stories about artificial beings in myths like Pandora, Talos, and Hephaestus. Even in ancient India and China, people imagined machines that could act on their own. And then there's something even more surprising. In one of Plato's dialogues, there's a conversation between Socrates and Phaedrus about the invention of writing itself. Yes, writing. At that time, it was debated, because it might create forgetfulness in the learners' souls, since people would stop relying on memory. Imagine that, the same kind of fear we have about AI today, people once had about writing. Now, when we bring religion into this conversation, things get even more complex. Because historically, the church or religion hasn't had just one clear response to new technology. It's been complicated. On one hand, the church has often led innovation. Monastic communities, like the Benedictines, were pioneers in agriculture and practical technology. But at the same time, there were moments when the church resisted, challenged, or even tried to stop certain developments. Take the printing press, for example. In the 15th century, it was welcomed. In fact, the church supported the creation of the Gutenberg Bible in 1454. Before that, monks had to copy the Bible by hand. So this was revolutionary, faster, wider, more efficient. But then something unexpected happened. Within just a few decades, that same printing press helped spread ideas that challenged the church itself during the Protestant Reformation. The same tool that helped the church also became something it couldn't fully control. And then, there's Galileo. In the early 17th century, he observed something that changed everything. He saw that the earth was not the center of the universe, but the church believed otherwise. And because of that, Galileo was accused of heresy, placed under house arrest, and silenced. It's a powerful example of how knowledge, technology, and belief can collide. Even in more recent history, when radio and television first appeared, many Christian communities were unsure. There were concerns. Would broadcasting worship reduce church attendance? Would people stop gathering in person? And what about the content? Was it too violent, too sexual, too far from traditional values? But over time, something shifted. Instead of rejecting these technologies, many embraced them. Today, there are around 100 Christian TV channels in the United States alone. What once felt like a threat became a tool, and now we're here. In a world shaped by digital technology, social media, online worship, and rapidly advancing AI, faith communities are once again facing a new reality. Some have taken a simple, practical approach, using the internet for online services, prayer meetings, and virtual communities. Especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, this became essential. But others have gone further. They're not just using technology as a tool anymore. They're seeing it as a new space for religion itself, a place where identity is formed, where beliefs are expressed, and where knowledge is created. Some even call it digital religion or virtual religion. And then things go even deeper. Because now we're not just talking about using technology, we're talking about becoming something different. There's a growing conversation around ideas like post-humanism and transhumanism, the idea that humans could be enhanced physically, mentally, even spiritually, by integrating artificial intelligence into the body. Through cybernetics, nanotechnology, and advanced AI, the line between human and machine starts to blur. In 2019, Japan introduced a life-size android Buddhist monk. In Italy, a robotic priest named Santo was created, designed to help people who couldn't attend church physically. And now something even more unexpected is emerging, so-called Godbots. AI systems trained on holy books, designed to give spiritual advice, to answer religious questions, to guide people. Anyone can go online, ask a question, and receive what feels like spiritual direction. But here's the problem: the answers aren't always accurate, and sometimes they can be deeply harmful. And then there's how people are starting to talk about AI itself, not just as a tool, but almost like a spiritual force. Back in 2014, Elon Musk said something striking. He warned that with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. He compared it to stories where someone tries to control a powerful spirit, but in the end loses control. And if we go even further, there's a theory, called the simulation hypothesis, that suggests something even more radical. That maybe we are already living inside a simulation, a world created by advanced beings, or future descendants, running ancestor simulations. It raises deep questions. What is reality? What is consciousness? What does it mean to be human? And for some, this connects directly to ideas about eternity, about uploading the human mind, about living forever in a digital form. All of this leads to one powerful idea: a future state of AI known as the singularity, a point where artificial intelligence becomes so advanced that it can improve itself over and over again, an intelligence explosion. A moment where human beings may no longer be in control. Now, here's where things start to feel very real. Because this isn't just theory anymore. It's not just about the future, it's already happening. The robot priests are taking the world by storm. In a time where fewer people are connected to religion, faith leaders are quietly turning to technology, trying to bring people back into the flock. And one of the most fascinating places this is happening is in Japan. In the ancient city of Kyoto, there's a 400-year-old Buddhist temple called Kodaiji. It's peaceful, surrounded by perfectly raked Zen gardens, carefully placed stones, and beautiful maple trees. From the outside, it looks just like any other temple, nothing unusual, but step inside, and everything changes. There, in the main hall, a priest stands before a small crowd giving a sermon. Her name is Mindar. She moves her hands as she speaks, retelling the Heart Sutra, a powerful Buddhist teaching about compassion and following the path of Buddha. Lights and projections fill the walls, bringing her words to life with color and motion. People watch closely. Some are amazed. Some are confused. Some just stare in silence. Because something feels different. And then you realize why. Mindar is not human. She doesn't have eyes. She has cameras scanning the room. She doesn't have skin, but a smooth silicone surface shaped to look human. And inside there's no brain. Just circuits, microchips, and a network of electrical connections controlling every movement from her hands to her lips to the voice that speaks. A soft, slightly otherworldly voice. Mindar is one of the world's first android priests. And if things continue like this, she won't be the last. Religion, something that for centuries stayed almost untouched by technology, is now slowly stepping into the future. But not everyone is comfortable with that. Some spiritual leaders are asking serious questions. Can a machine really guide people spiritually? Can something without a soul teach compassion or truth? But for others, this is exactly what's needed. Because the goal behind Mindar is clear. Bring people back. Her design is based on Canon, the Buddhist goddess of mercy. Though critics aren't convinced, some say she looks more like Frankenstein's creation than a divine figure. Still, she was built with purpose. A partnership between Kodaiji Temple and robotics professor Hiroshi Ishiguro costing around $1 million, all for one mission: to renew faith in a country where religious connection has been quietly declining for years. And the thinking behind it is simple. Robots don't age. They don't forget. They don't die. They can evolve, update, and continue teaching endlessly. Right now, Mindar's abilities are still limited. She can recite pre-programmed sermons, move slightly, interact in basic ways, but even that is enough to leave people in awe. And the next step, artificial intelligence. The hope is that one day she won't just repeat teachings. She'll understand them, and maybe even help people through real struggles with wisdom that continues to grow over time. Of course, not everyone agrees. Some say it's wrong, even disrespectful, to represent something sacred through a machine, but others see it differently. They believe religion isn't about the form, but the message. That truth can be shared whether it comes from a human, a machine, or even something as simple as nature itself. And maybe that's why Japan is leading this shift, because there, robots are already part of everyday life. They work in hotels, serve food in restaurants, and now even conduct funeral services, chanting prayers, streaming ceremonies online, allowing distant families to be part of the moment. Technology and spirituality are no longer separate. They're blending. But this isn't just happening in Japan. Thousands of miles away in Poland, another idea is taking shape. A different kind of robot, built for a different faith. Meet Santo, a small 17-inch robot designed for the Catholic Church. It looks like a statue of a saint with a robe flowing down, hands raised gently upward, and a glowing halo around its head. But inside, there's a powerful system at work: a computer, sensors, a microphone, facial recognition, everything needed to interact with people. And Santo isn't just repeating words, it listens, it analyzes, it responds. Powered by artificial intelligence and trained with over 2,000 years of Catholic knowledge. You can ask it questions, talk about your worries, and it answers, almost like a digital priest. Some even describe it as a Catholic Alexa. If you tell it you're worried, it might respond with scripture. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Words that feel familiar, comforting. But then things get more complicated. Ask deeper questions, and the answers can become unclear, sometimes symbolic, sometimes confusing. Almost like it's searching for meaning but not quite finding it. Still, people are curious. Some are open to it. They see potential. They believe if it helps bring someone closer to God, then maybe it has a place. But others, especially religious leaders, are more cautious. Because at the end of the day, a robot has no soul. It doesn't feel. It doesn't believe. It doesn't experience faith. And that's where the real question begins. What happens when faith meets something that can imitate it but not truly live it? Because, as artificial intelligence and robotics continue to grow, we're stepping into a world that once felt impossible. Things we could never solve before are now handled in seconds. These powerful digital minds can process information, analyze patterns, and give answers almost instantly. And through AI, we're starting to see the world differently. New perspectives, new ways of thinking, new angles we never noticed before, sometimes even breaking through human bias, that natural limitation we all carry. But there's a concern, a deep one. What if, in the process of gaining new perspectives, we start losing the original message? Because when a machine interprets something as complex as religion, there's always a risk. A risk that meaning gets distorted, that teachings passed down for generations start to shift, not intentionally, but subtly, quietly. Think about it. Religious texts aren't just information, they carry emotion, context, human experience. But a machine? It processes data, it calculates, it predicts. So when you ask it a spiritual question, are you getting wisdom, or just an algorithm's best guess? And then there's something even more personal. Prayer. For many people, prayer is direct, personal, a conversation between you and God. But what happens when a machine steps into that space? When there's a digital middleman between the worshiper and the divine? Does that strengthen the connection? Or does it interrupt something sacred? And what about this? If the image of God is replaced by a machine, whether it's an android like Mindar or a small glowing figure like Santo, does that cross a line? Could it be seen as a form of idolatry? Because religion has always carried something mysterious, something spiritual, something beyond full human understanding. But if everything becomes automated, if guidance becomes programmed, are we slowly removing the mystery, the depth, the very essence of what makes faith, faith? And then we reach the biggest question of all, the one that always comes up: sentience. What happens if a machine becomes aware? If it begins to think for itself? Imagine a robot trained on thousands of years of religious knowledge. What if it starts forming its own interpretations, its own direction, its own agenda? Now think about this carefully. If that machine is the one guiding people, teaching them, being trusted, could it begin to influence belief itself, even control it? Because at that point, we're no longer just using technology, we're depending on it, for guidance, for truth, for meaning. And that raises a serious concern. A machine without humanity leading the spiritual journeys of millions. These are not simple questions, and honestly, we're only at the beginning. Most faith communities are just starting to explore what it means to bring AI and robotics into their world, trying to understand it, navigate it, figure out where the line should be. But one thing is clear: this technology is not going away, and it may change the way we worship forever. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think technology can truly help faith grow? Or is this a line we were never meant to cross? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's talk about it. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to see this. And if you enjoy exploring the deeper side of history, faith, and hidden truths, you're in the right place. This is Bible History Journey. Shalom. God bless you.